Hello friends, welcome to another Sims 4 speed build. I hope you're having a good day. I'm super sorry about the spinning camera. It's really bad in the beginning. It gets better as time goes on. It was virtually impossible to cut it out altogether of the beginning because I was using a neighborhood decoration house as inspiration for this house. So the idea behind this one was not to add a horse ranch here, but to actually add a small, almost urban farm type of lot. In the end, there will be a chicken coop and some raised garden beds. Excuse me. And some raised garden beds in the backyard, which will be mostly a big open backyard for farming type stuff, for an urban type farm. And because of that, I decided to go with a traditional or a more traditional house than what I generally build. And I needed inspiration from somewhere, so I took inspiration from one of the neighborhood decoration houses. It works because it helps this house fit in, even though I kind of modernized it with the dark black trimmings. It still fits in really well because it's the same house style as what's going on in throughout the rest of the neighborhood, even in the neighborhood decorations, if that makes sense. The thing that I had the most problem with is probably the under roof room. I wish there was a toggle just for turning the roof on and off so that you could still have the roof on there but use the rooms the same way you would any other. My God, this is like the third or fourth time I've recorded this, and now my voice is just like, lady, stop talking. You're just ruining everything. But I just want the voiceovers to be perfect. I'm sorry. I just want them to be perfect. Anyways, I totally lost my train of thought because my voice keeps giving out on me. But the under roof room was a real pain to create because the game just was not recognizing it as a room. And I didn't realize that at first, that the reason why it wasn't letting me place roof pieces where I wanted all the time was because it was not recognizing that there was a room there. That is some of the problem that I was having, and in fact, I didn't even realize that until I was editing the video. That's how long it took me to realize, and I spent 2 hours working on this build, so shows how observant I am, right? Anyways, I think it turned out really, really well. It's one of my best builds yet. I'm especially proud of the landscaping in the front, which is not generally my style of landscaping either. But this house was just screaming out for some really fluffy, overdone, not overdone, that's not the word I'm looking for. What is the word I'm looking for? Full. Full, vibrant, fluffy looking landscaping, and that's what we get in the end. But to get there, I had to get this upstairs room done, and it was not working at all. I tried so many times. In the end, that the dormer, that's what it's called, the dormer on the right hand side, if you're looking at the front of the house, still never gets recognized as part of the room or even as a room itself, which was a real pain, and I don't know how to fix that. Hopefully it doesn't affect your Sims too much. But yeah, that's the only part that in the end never was really truly integrated into a room. Otherwise, everything else turned out really great. It was a challenge for me figuring out how to set everything up in a more traditional house like this. I ended up doing a mixture downstairs of a more modern open floor plan, but not completely opened because the kitchen is its own room, but like the living room, dining room is all open. And then the upstairs bedroom is more like a loft than a room because I didn't add a wall around the staircase and put a door in there or anything. So it is technically open to the downstairs. So it's more like a loft than a room. Again, as I already said, I tend to repeat myself a lot. I realize that now. Anyways, so yeah, the struggle on this, I cut about 40 minutes worth of roof and upstairs room work out of the video because there just wasn't enough space for it. Even with cutting that out, the video is still over 20 minutes long. So I'm also really sorry about the length of this video. I tried to cut it down as much as possible, but it was definitely a new both architecture style and decorating style for me. And so I was kind of learning as I went, I guess. Yeah, I guess I would put it that way. I was learning as I went because I don't typically do this style of decorating or house building. I'm just glad to be back building in The Sims. I'm still really obsessed with Disney Dreamlight Valley, and I still have so many more episodes that I need to edit and upload it, and I'm still working on recording more episodes as I edit those and upload them. Um, because I'm really, really into Disney Dreamlight Valley. To me, it's a lot like Animal Crossing, which I loved Animal Crossing, but I hated having to hook up the Switch to my computer and everything, and I wanted something that I could just do on my computer, even when I'm not making video content, just grinding for stuff. I know most people say, well, isn't the Switch really handy to just grab and grind out stuff for Animal Crossing? Yes and no. Technically, the Switch is my daughter's, and Animal Crossing is my daughter's game. So, yes and no at the same time. Also, I don't know. I don't know how to explain it. There's just something about Disney Dreamlight Valley that I slightly like more. There are some things about Animal Crossing that were just really hard to achieve because they were so incredibly expensive. And I'm not saying that stuff in Dreamlight Valley is not expensive too, because it is, but not as bad as Animal Crossing. Although Disney Dreamlight Valley will microtransaction you into oblivion because their moonstones are horribly expensive, which Animal Crossing does not have. And I think Dreamlight Valley needs to either get rid of them or make them a lot cheaper. And okay, let me interrupt my story. You just saw a cut where the house downstairs floor plan flipped. I forgot to hit record. What happened was I had the original floor plan with the bedroom and the kitchen flipped and the bathroom in next to the stairs there. It did not work. I did not like it, and it just didn't work that way. I stopped recording for a while to figure out how best to lay the flooring or the floor plan out, and then I forgot to hit record when I started building again. All I did was flip the kitchen and the bedroom and move the bathroom in between the two rooms. That's literally all I did. So yeah, that's why there's that weird cut there, and then all of a sudden the whole floor plan downstairs is different, just because it took me a while to figure out how it would work best and how it would look best. Oh my god, it's noon. I gotta get this video finished. I was procrastinating, but anyways, I am glad to be back working in The Sims, even though, again, I reiterate, I am absolutely obsessed with Disney Dreamlight Valley right now. I'm glad to be back in The Sims working. I'm glad to have my inspiration back for building. Um, I'm still having some technical difficulties with my computer. I figured out the sound issues. Oh my god. Okay, so I don't know if you can hear it on this as much, but you'll definitely be able to hear it the next time I use OBS. My computer was defaulting to the microphone on my webcam. It wasn't because I took the soundboards down or the, like, what do you call them? Soundproofing boards. It wasn't because I took those down. It was because everything was going through my webcam microphone rather than my condenser microphone, which is not the world's best microphone, but it's 1,000 times better than the camera microphone. Not that the camera microphone is bad, it just has a lot of echo to it and it picks up literally every sound within a mile radius of me. So it was just really noisy and stuff and a little bit echoey. The condenser microphone definitely sounds a lot better. But I don't think you'll be able to tell on this because this program has its own independent, what do you call it, like options. OBS does as well, but I don't know if I messed something up in OBS and it's no longer selected as my USB condenser microphone or what. I'm gonna have to play around with that and see why that is also defaulting to my webcam microphone. But I figured out that the webcam microphone became the computer default, and that's why everything sounded so bad. And when my webcam wasn't plugged in, it would default to the laptop's built-in microphone, so that made it sound even worse at times. So yeah, I think I got that fixed. My camera, it turns out that it's not that it wasn't compatible with OBS, but it's not compatible with my new USB extender that I bought from Amazon. I just got a cheap one off Amazon because one of my USB ports stopped working. And I have one, two, three, four. I only ever had 3 USB ports, and I now have 4 things plugged into the USB. So I needed a USB extender, especially since one of the 3 stopped working. And I guess the camera is not super compatible with the USB extender thing, apparently. Because when I use it through the USB extender, you can see scan lines on it, which is kind of annoying sometimes. Sometimes you don't notice it as well, but other times it can get really annoying. So yeah, I've kind of sorted out some of that stuff now. Um, what else? This is such a long video. I don't have enough stuff to talk about. I did set it up for 2 children and a newborn. So like basically a family of 5. But I don't know. I guess you could move a few things around in the bedroom. Excuse me, in the kids' bedroom and put a toddler bed in there. But there might be a spot you could put a toddler bed in the parents' room. I'm not sure. It's really not made for a 5-person family. It's really not. I would probably not have more than 2 kids at a time, honestly. Which means maybe getting rid of the bunk bed and putting a toddler bed in there instead. Um, or a toddler bed and a crib for when the newborn turns into an infant, but really it's set up for a child and an infant. I just put bunk beds in case, you wanted another child. But that was my thinking behind this. And maybe maybe one of these days, I think I mentioned this in another build video, but maybe one of these days we'll just go through and make families for the save file for all these houses that I built but never made families for. There have been several now, and so maybe one of these days we'll just do a video making families for these save file builds. I don't even ever know if I'm going to get this save file finished, to be honest with you, but no fears, because all of these builds are always available on the gallery anyways, so you're free to use them however, whenever, wherever you want. I just am planning on having a save file available possibly at some point. My feeling though is that The Sims 5 is going to come out in 2025. So probably just about 2 years from now. I feel like I don't really know exactly what time of year. It could be fall or it could be spring. I don't think it'll be a summer release. I don't think it'll be a winter release. But I do envision maybe somewhere around March or November release for The Sims 5. That's just my feelings based on my experience and history with The Sims franchise. But I mean, I could be totally off base on that, but that's just my feeling that I'm getting from it. In which case, hopefully, I'll have the save file done by then. But I mean, just because The Sims 5 comes out doesn't mean we have to completely abandon The Sims 4. And there will most likely be a lot of people playing The Sims 4 long after The Sims 5 comes out. So I won't not do the save file. I would just prefer for it to be done long before that point so people can enjoy it before they do decide to move on to The Sims 5. Does that make sense? And if I don't, then I don't. I feel like there's a good chance I might not, though. But again, all of these builds are available on the gallery. You can use them anywhere, anytime, for whatever. Obviously, non commercial use. Do not take my builds and repackage them as your own or put them on your Patreon or whatever. But yeah, go ahead and use them in your game whenever, however, wherever you want. That's why I put them up on the gallery and I'm not saving them exclusively for a save file. Oh, did I ever mention that this game is predominantly base game? No, not this game. This lot is predominantly base game. There's only one thing that I add from cottage living, and that is the chicken coop, because I think I mentioned this at the beginning. Did I mention this at the beginning? This is a little bit of a city farm, an urban farm, an in town mini farm type of thing. Kind of like I did with the Brindleton Bay horse ranch, where it's kind of like a sort of miniature horse ranch for one or two horses, but not like a fully working horse ranch. This is kind of like that. It's not a fully working farm, but it's just people living in town who wanted some chickens and some raised garden beds. And so that's what they have. Does that make sense? I kind of like adding this kind of stuff in here and there. It just seems realistic because these days you can find stuff like that now. Like you could go, to the other side of your town and the apartment buildings on the other side of your town have like massive balcony gardens, or your next door neighbor has a chicken coop in their backyard. Like those are things that are becoming very common these days in our society now, at least here in the US. I don't know about other places, but like mini farms and urban gardens and like all that kind of stuff are becoming more and more common. So I just wanted to add some of those in. And I'm obsessed with farms and animal things and gardening things, apparently. It's all I ever want to build. But, anyways, we are finally just about coming up. This has got to be the longest. I swear it's got to be the longest speed build I've ever made. It has to be. But we're finally coming up on the end here, and if you enjoyed this video, oh my god, this landscaping, I am in love with it. Please, if you don't watch any other part of this video, watch this, because I think I did a really good job, not to toot my own horn. I don't typically like this kind of overly full landscaping, but it is kind of starting to grow on me a little bit, and I think it turned out really well this time. So, if you liked this video, if I can speak, if you liked this video, if you enjoy this build, don't forget to like and subscribe. All support is appreciated. And yeah, I just had to throw that in there before I forgot, because sometimes I do forget. Although it does get annoying to say all the time. So I wonder if it gets annoying to hear all the time too. You let me know down in the comments if that gets annoying to hear. Look at that landscaping. Is that not gorgeous landscaping? Don't worry, I fixed the terrain paint in just a minute. But did that not turn out really well? Considering it was me doing it and I am not good at landscaping, that actually turned out really good. I am terrible at landscaping, but I also just do not like overly full landscaping like that. I credit Dreamlight Valley. I have been doing a lot of landscaping in Dreamlight Valley recently, and trying to fill up fluffy spaces, and it kind of turned me on to how nice fuller landscaping can also be. I know that sounds weird, doesn't it? But anyways, I really do hope you enjoyed this build. I worked really hard, and I definitely think I am getting better at more traditional builds now. So don't forget to like, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye for now.